Tim Berners-Lee, welcome to the programme. The growth of the web is a lesson for all dreamers. I think it was you who said that. Are you a dreamer?
Take a look at this graph. It shows the growth of internet use from 1990 at 2.62 million to 4.7 billion in 2020. This was the revolution founded by this man. The vision was simple then. The future of the web would be governed by collaboration, decentralization, and above all, openness. It would disrupt the one-way relationship most people have with television and radio, and make vast quantities of information held by institutions more freely accessible for everyone. Reality, however, has often fallen short of these ideals, with private, closed platforms in many cases centralizing control over content moderation, data, and algorithms. As Tarkovsky et al. Say at Open Futures, while openness offers the strongest counterbalance to the corporate enclosure of information and culture, it is also vulnerable to exploitation and can even serve as an enabler of the concentration of power, and that, in some cases, openness serves to strengthen power imbalances and is thus not emancipatory in itself. Now, as we stand on the cusp of a new era of transformative technologies, especially with the possibility of AGI on the horizon, the question of openness and sharing resources for collective benefit has once again come to the forefront. AI companies have recently been accused of pulling the ladder up behind them. Elon Musk has publicly sued OpenAI for abandoning their original mission of openness for profit maximization. So will the development of AI follow the same path as the internet, with a few powerful corporations monopolizing the technology and shaping its impact on society? Or can we find ways to democratically harness the power of AI for the greater good, whilst mitigating the risks that openness poses? Let's explore a few options. The Manhattan Project's Trinity test changed the world forever. Even after thousands of years of war in every corner of the world, humanity never had the capability to destroy itself until the 16th of July 1945. But we didn't choose that path. The year 1952 saw the beginning of CERN, a collaborative project in nuclear physics set up for the public good. Then 5 years later, in 1957, the International Atomic Energy Agency for Physics was set up to monitor uranium levels and limit arsenals of nuclear weapons. The success these organizations had in not blowing us all up was great, so then we tried it some more, with the International Experimental Reactor for Fusion Research, the Human Genome Project for Genomics, the Montreal Protocol that phased out chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, when it was discovered that they were creating a hole in the ozone layer. Now, some researchers are calling for a similar approach to the development of artificial general intelligence. In a recent paper titled Multinational AGI Consortium, a proposal for international coordination on AI, a group of researchers outlined a vision for a global facility dedicated to the safe and responsible development of AI systems, focusing on 4 principles. Exclusivity. It would be the world's only advanced AI facility, with a monopoly on the development of advanced AI models and strict non-proliferation measures in place. Safety focus. The facility would be dedicated to developing AI systems that are safe by design, with a focus on new architectures and ways to bound existing AI systems. Security. It would be among the most highly secure facilities on Earth, with strict protocols for information security. And collectivity. It would be supported internationally, with the benefits of AI systems distributed among all members. But it isn't just a few researchers who think this would be a good idea. The CEOs of OpenAI and Google DeepMind signed a document by the Center for AI Safety that states, "Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority, alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war." And the UN Secretary General seems to be on board as well. But I know what you might be thinking at this point. What about AI that doesn't pose an existential threat? What about narrow AI used for fraud detection, creating new medicines, or helping children learn? The type of AI that could have immediate and important economic benefit. How can we keep that kind of AI open? There are 2 reasons why AI of this kind is currently bending towards closed source. The computing power needed to run it, and the access to training data that's required to train the models both require a great deal of funding, which is miles out of the reach of most individual researchers or companies. Rather than centralised compute power within an international body, which as we've seen could work in some cases like AGI development, there could be space for nations to develop their own open source AI industries to compete with closed source companies like OpenAI or Anthropic. France, for example, has recently invested 40 million euros in this. We don't want to live in a world with 2 or 3 or 4 monopolies and to have to negotiate the rights to innovate. So open source can be a very important answer, said Henri Verdier, the French ambassador for digital affairs, in a Politico article. This stems from a growing movement in Europe suggesting that the EU shouldn't just exist to regulate AI, which is what it has mostly done up until this point, but actively fund the creation of open source AIs that are publicly beneficial and mission driven, so that they can compete with the tech giants. A great example of this is the large language model Bloom, developed by a group of 1,000 AI researchers in the summer of 2023 under the Rail license, a new copyright license that aims to balance open source use with responsible use. As they say on their website, responsible AI licenses empower developers to restrict the use of their AI technology in order to prevent irresponsible and harmful applications. So then, maintaining openness and democratic collaboration seems to depend on the context. In the case of existential threats like superintelligence, some kind of secure, democratically processed multinational consortium might work. But in the case of more domain-specific tools like generative AI, open source with certain constraints seems sensible. Future governance can't just fall into the openness trap that the internet founders fell into. Openness needs an ethical framework, just as freedom needs handrails. But what do you think? Please let me know in the comments, and check out my Substack linked in the description for the reference script.